And welcome back to another Casas Cashflow. I hope you guys are doing an excellent today. And in today's show, we're going to be talking about, but before we go into that, Bianca, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ms. Pino. Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad that you are all here. And today's topic is very powerful.
And that topic is why most people never build anything. I mean, anything. And how to break that pattern. Now, many of us, you, me, Bianca, everyone, the whole world, we always have ideas, dreams, and goals, and working on new things as we move on in our lives. However, some people go ahead and do things, but others, which is the big majority of people, they never built anything. And then why is the reason for that? And that's exactly what we're going to be unpacking today, because once you understand what is that reason or those many reasons, maybe you will have an answer about how you can use and apply this into your life so you create the life that you want, desire, are going to enjoy, and the one that is worth living for you. Now, Bianca, let's start with you, of course. Why do you think people never build anything?
Ms. Pino, most people don't dream. Most people stop dreaming.
That's one.
And they overthink everything that they're doing in their lives. Everything. Their mindset doesn't let them or allow them. They themselves don't even give themselves permission to dream. Let's start by that.
That's
because
true.
I keep saying the dream part, because if you don't even dream, you have no aspirations of wanting anything different in your life. And growth comes when you start wanting things, and some people want it, but they don't want to work for it.
Well, exactly. And I would say to that, I totally agree with you. So in my end, I would say a couple of things. Number one, fear. People get dead, literally, full of fear before they really decide, or like you said, they give themselves permission to do something. And let me tell you, fear is something that we create in our minds, and it's in a way could be sometimes a defense mechanism for auto survival.
Keeping us safe.
Exactly, keeping us safe. And that is like this little lizard that we have in our brain in the back somewhere that keep us safe from danger, for whatever is a perceived danger for our survival as a human species. Now, fear. The other thing is overthinking. People think it over and think it over and think it over. And one thing you're going to usually hear people say, I'm a perfectionist.
Yes.
Well, perfection leads to paralysis. And paralysis leads to you keep thinking and thinking and you really never get moving. You never get it done. What else is for you? What's another reason why people don't build anything?
Oh, decision paralysis. I like the word paralysis, and everything that you do, it's exactly that. You put a decision and then you start making excuses. You say, I'm going to make the decision, I'm going to make excuses why I'm not doing this and why I'm not doing that, and because the risk, and because I want to play the worst case scenario, and you go into this rampage of not wanting to do anything else.
Exactly. So, and then on that, you said in the rampage, and then you become your own devil's advocate.
Correct.
Worst critic. You never take action. You don't move forward. You overthink it. And then you even start philosophizing as if you would be a philosopher or an attorney or something like that. No offense to attorneys, I love them. But as to the reasons why you really haven't done it. But it's all predicated on different things. And probably could be fear, overthinking it. Another thing is waiting for the right moment. Waiting for the right timing.
We go back to the perfectionist part of it.
True.
We got to make, how many of us don't, and I say us, at a certain point in time, I didn't want to make a video until I was ready. And every day, no, I'm not ready. No, I'm not ready. People, there's no action, right? When you're saying, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to move that. I don't have the decision. I'm paralyzed. So how do you break from doing that?
Great question. But we're going to answer that a little bit later into this video. And there is a reason for that. And when bringing it back to what you said, waiting for the right timing, and I don't want to confuse you guys into waiting for the right timing on a business decision, on something that is supported by data, market conditions, etc. Because yes, sometimes moving too fast could be against maybe what you need to accomplish or what you're looking to accomplish, the outcome, etc. So you have to be mindful about that. But in here, what we're talking about, waiting on the perfect timing, is that it's never really going to be a perfect timing. You have to make the decision too that it is the right timing, and then you're going to do it. What else for you?
Well, you mentioned something before. You said, "Oh, it's our self-talk."
True.
That's another thing that I want to bring up. Yeah, you overanalyze it. You get anxiety. You are fearful of doing certain things, and all of that boils down is because you are in your comfort zone. What is your comfort zone? So you bought a house, you have the car, you have, to you, the perfect job, you're making like the perfect annual income. Therefore, because there's always this void. I know when you speak to people, there's always this void of, I want more. I want a bigger home, but I don't know how to go there. I want a bigger car, but I don't know how to go there. So then you start thinking and thinking and thinking, and that's where you start overanalyzing it, paralyzing yourself to moving forward without really, really getting out of your comfort zone. And that's where the dream is.
True. If you are in the comfort area of your life, whatever that is in your life right now, and you're not willing to step out of it, there's no growth, there is no expansion. And indeed, then at that level of comfort, see, you already did it, you already accomplished it. You are actually living it probably every day. That's actually your life that you have created up to that moment. But then what happens after? Are you keep perpetuating it? Or if you want bigger, better, different, and that's all right. Are you willing to do what it takes, the necessary actions to be able to accomplish that new dream? Because just because you already bought your house, your dream home, or your forever home, it doesn't mean that you can buy more. If you already have, let's say, the right business or the correct business, it doesn't mean that you can really keep the business and scale your business and grow more, or even start into another line of business that, adds on value to the current one that you have. What about health? What about your weight? What about the people that you associate with? All of that is part of your life. But if you stay in your comfort zone, guess what? You're going to die in your comfort zone. And that's not what we came here for the most part. Because the thing is, all of that probably is also predicated on the fact that you have fear. And that fear that you might be experiencing once you're in, let's say, a certain level of comfort zone, is that you're afraid that you're going to lose it. And if you were going to lose it and something goes wrong because you make the wrong decision, you probably will not be able to live with that decision and be accountable for the fact that you made that decision. See, things get complicated when you start peeling the onion of the reasons behind why people don't do anything. Look, in simple words, it's easier not to do it than actually do it. It's easier not to, I'm like, okay, pretend that you don't know why you ain't doing it, when you know exactly the reason behind why you're really not doing it. Because you are fearful, because you're overthinking it, because you're afraid of losing everything, because you're in your comfort zone. And that leads me to lack of belief. Belief in who? In yourself. First and most important. Can't blame it on anybody. Can't blame it on your spouse and your business, on the economy, Trump, you name it. You can name it on anything. But at the end of the day, anything and everything is your responsibility, like it's my responsibility, like it's Bianca's responsibility. And the question is, well, why I don't believe in myself? And then answer that question. What would it take that I believe in myself? And if I believe in myself, what would I be willing to do, or how my life will change or jump or expand once I believe in myself and I am willing to get out of my comfort zone. What else for you, Bianca?
There's one thing that we always talk about when we express ourselves when it comes to changing your mindset, right? And there's a phrase that a lot of people say, well, I don't take risks.
Ooh.
Yet you take a risk every time you get on a car, every time you go somewhere, and then with that, we always come back, and when we speak to people, you always say, well, let's think about 1%. If you were to change 1% of your mindset, 1% of your mindset every day, by the time the year is over, you will have a 365% worth of a change in your mind, getting out of your comfort zone, doing something different with your life. Right?
Exactly. And I agree with that, because if you are asked right now, can you jump 10 meters, let's say on the position that I am, let's say in the position that you are, can you jump out 10 meters or 10 feet or 20 feet? Probably the answer will be, no, I'm not physically able to do that. And then you start rationalizing all the reasons why you can't do it.
I'm
not trained, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I didn't have breakfast today, whatever.
It's raining,
I'm, how you say when you drink a lot, I'm hungover, and you're like, okay. Anyways, and all of those things that you're saying to yourself, probably you're right, because those are your reasons. It doesn't mean that are actually true. My point on this is, circling back to what Bianca said, if you move your needle forward 1%, even if people outside of you looking at you think that there is no progress, you know there is progress, because 1% every day, like Bianca said, is 365% progress all around in 1 year. And that is a huge percentage, no matter where you put it. Imagine if you can grow your business 365%. Imagine if you can grow for the betterment your life 365%, just by making that little switch in your mind about switching to 1%. And then, is that possible? Because the other thing is it possible really, or we just here philosophizing and talking, trying to motivate you? No, this is not about motivating you. It's about showing you the facts of what things hold you back, and that's why maybe some people don't build anything. But then how do we break that pattern?
The thing with that is that you are the builder of your life.
Correct.
So you make that decision of saying, well, today I am going to learn something that is going to help me take my business to another level.
Right.
Or it's going to help me to move from this house that I have to a bigger house, or to buy a bigger car, to make more income. That is all. You are the builder. So therefore, you are your biggest investment wherever you are. You acquire knowledge about anything that you want. You consistently apply that knowledge. You take action into doing what you want to do. Guess what? That 1%, everyday 1% progress,
it compounds. It adds up. It grows. It multiplies. And it shows at the end of the year. At the year, if you put starting today, day one, and you do another 365 day out, do it. Do it. Send a comment. Let us know. Because I know right now people that last year, I know that they were in a particular situation, and just in 1 year, they have made tremendous progress, tremendous movement forward. They have funded new business. They have do new books. They have created programs. And why? Because they were clear. They did one thing and one thing only. They took action. And before that, I'm going to share something. And that is, we're all going to have issues in our life. For me, for example, you can have a setback. Life is not peachy queen, like I say all the time, and it's easy and all.
Life happens to all of us.
Exactly. And it's no roses and, whatever. It's not.
Especially when it comes to health.
Exactly. In my case, for example, 3 years ago, I had brain surgery from here to here, literally. Was that something that I expected? Absolutely not. Did I like that idea? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I was literally scared to death, because I didn't know what could have happened, what the outcome could have been, how it was gonna turn around. But besides that, I feel that very, honestly, sincerely, that within the circumstance, I did the best that I could into putting my next foot forward, looking forward to be able to reestablish myself the best possible way within what my body and it was allowed in my healing process. I adjusted what I needed to do. I slowed some things down. I did all the things, and because I understood I needed the time for healing prior than anything else. Because like Bianca said, we are our best investment, and we are the only investment that we take with us, even to our grave, literally. So I needed the time for that, but then within that, I'm gonna share with you 5 simple words that are basic, can help you give you an idea, a catalyst of how you can break that pattern of really not building anything for your life and changing to actually start building something that you're proud of. The number one thing is you need to decide. You need to decide. You need to make a decision. You need to make the decision that, yes, I'm going to change this and this and this and this, whatever that is for you. Number two, you're going to stay the course. You're going to stay the course no matter what. There are going to be delays. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be problems. There are days you're going to want to give up, but you're going to stay the course. You're going to stay consistent. The other thing is you're going to have the flexibility to adjust. You got to adjust your timeline. You got to be open to adjust the process, adjust the steps, not to reduce the goals, but adjust as far as what is that you know that is feasible that you can achieve. And you will, because you're deciding that, staying the course, and you're adjusting. The next thing is you're going to keep going. You're not going to stop. You're not going to quit. It's easier to quit than to actually say, you know what, I am in this bad moment, or I'm in this difficult situation, or I am in this particular circumstance, but I'm going to keep going. And the faster you keep going, the better it is. Because that's transitional, that is temporary, and you're not going to stay there all the time. And the faith word that I would say to you is action. None of this works if you don't take action. So, not the perfect timing, not the right conditions, action. And what is action? I will circle back exactly what Bianca said. It is that 1% every single day towards the movement, towards the process, towards the accomplishment of that goal, of those goals, of that life that you're building every day for you, yourself, your family. And what would you say after this?
Well, I'm glad that you pointed out all those 5 words. To me, it's always the consistent education, okay? The
Huge.
right mindset.
Correct.
And the support. It doesn't matter what you're building in life. Whether you are building a relationship from the ground up.
That's right.
Whether you're becoming a single parent and you need to parent your children. Whether you want a bigger business, scale your business, is always going to lead to the same thing. It is the right mindset, it's the consistent mindset, is the consistent work in education.
Absolutely.
And obviously seek the support, seek the professionals who can guide you through what you're looking for.
Exactly. And everything, when you mentioned the relationship, business, your health, everything, you anyways build it from the ground up. So my question to you is, and with that we're going to be closing this time together. What are you building right now? Or better yet, what have you been avoiding building? I want you to think about that. And with that, we say thank you. We appreciate you, whatever you are in your life, in your business, and around the world. Thank you, Bianca, for this time together. And we see you guys in another Casas and Cashflow. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Ms. Pino. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And now I'm going to get up and close the broadcast, and we'll see you guys in another episode of Casas and Cashflow. Until next time.